Namaste yogis, hope you're all doing well. So this practice is a practice for the days when you're not really feeling like moving very much. It might be a day like today where it's just really warm outside and there's very little movement in the air, so I don't feel like moving very much myself. So grab a comfortable seat and we'll get started. So making sure that you have enough support under your hips so that your spine can be nice and long and you're not crunching your lower back or straining at your hip flexors. And then just do a few rolls with your shoulders just to ease out any tension. And some days, every day is just about trying to find balance in our lives. So some days are going to be days where you want to do a very energetic roll practice and sort of really heating pranayama, and some days you're going to want to do sort of cooling things. So for me, this is a cooling day. So allow your shoulders to relax. Place your hands on your lap, palms down, palms up. Use a mudra if you want to. And then just find your space. And just allow the body to soften. Just taking nice, easy breaths and just allow the exhale to just let go of the mind and of the body. Now, just allow everything to quieten. Using these little quiet seated moments to act as a little bit of a pause, a little bit of a break, a little bit of a button reset between what you've been doing in your day up until this moment. And just slowly start to gather all your senses inwards. And even though there might be things going on round about you, distractions, I can hear tractors, there's the birds. They're kind of in your periphery. You're aware of them, but your focus is in here. And the easiest way to do that is to anchor the mind on the breath. Just allowing the body to breathe the way the body wants to breathe. Not forcing a pattern, not forcing a rhythm, not dictating how your body breathes, but just let your body breathe as it needs to right now. And all you're doing is observing every inhale and every exhale. And I'd like you to start to cultivate a sense of gratitude. And I'd like you to think right now and just see what pops into your head, something that you're grateful for. Could be a person, could be a thing, could be a memory, could be an occasion, anything at all, but just something that you are grateful for. And set the intention to dedicate this practice to that gratitude object. And then just let that go. And then bring the palms of your hands together, Anjali Mudra, and we will chant the mantra Om together. So when you're ready, take a lovely big breath in. Bow your head to your heart. Blink your eyes open. And I'm going to remove the cushion from under my pelvis, and then just rock from side to side. But you might choose to stay seated on something, again, yogi's choice, but just rock from side to side until you can find your sit bones, so that you're aware that your sit bones are just kind of nestling down into the floor. And then really, really simply, bring your right hand to the floor and take your left arm up. And you're just going to do an ever so gentle lean to the side. And just have a sense of the opening in the side of the body. Feeling that opening into the armpit, into the side of the ribs, into the waist. And the hand on the floor, you're just gently pushing that hand into the floor to anchor the opposite hip down. But don't go immediately to your deepest place, because this practice, there's going to be a lot of non-movement. And if it feels okay for the neck and there are no issues with the neck, inhale, turn the head up. Exhale, turn the head to the floor. Inhale to look up. Exhale to look down. One more. Inhale to look up. Exhale to look down. And then bring the head back to neutral, and on an inhale, come all the way up. Bring the left hand behind you, right hand onto your knee, and just a gentle twist. So again, we're not going to our deepest place. We're just gently turning the body and turning to look over that shoulder. But again, making sure you're not leaning back, that the shoulders are kind of relatively above the pelvis, and the head is still kind of in the middle of the shoulders. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And just notice how the breath changes when you're in a twist. And then on an inhale, come back to center. A little pause in the middle, just recalibrate, reset. Then left hand comes to the floor, right arm reaches up. And again, just a gentle leaning to the side. Keep it soft, keep it gentle, but just allow that hand on the floor again to just gently press the floor away, and notice how that resets the hips. Beautiful. Again, if the head and the neck are okay, inhale to look up. Exhale, turn to look down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more. Inhale up. Exhale down. And then on an inhale, bring the head back to neutral, body back to neutral. Right hand behind, left hand comes onto the right knee. Inhale to get tall, create space. Exhale, move into the twist. And although you're using the hand on the leg, the hand on the floor as little levers to help you move deeper into the twist, you're not pushing, you're not forcing, they're just there for support. And you breathe, and again, just notice where you feel the sensation of your breath. Nice. Inhale back to center. Hands come onto the legs. And a little bit of flexion and extension of the spine. So inhale, lift the chest, look up. Exhale, rock off your sit bones round the back and drop the chin towards the chest. And at the same time, draw the belly back towards the spine. Inhale, reach forward and up as if you're trying to draw your heart center through the arms and up. And then exhale, slowly rock back. So inhaling to flex and exhale to round. And just move with your breath. So you might want to go a little bit quicker, or you might want to go a little bit slower. But just feel that movement in your spine. Start flexing at the base of the spine, moving up through the head. So this is similar to the movement we do on all fours, but has a slightly different sensation. And just connect to the breath. This is a lovely movement for many, many things, but particularly if you're experiencing menstrual cramps. Beautiful. And then next time you inhale and reach up, just let that go. And then just pause again, little moments of stillness in between to just check in, sense how you're feeling. Beautiful. Okay, and then we're going to swing the legs round. We're going to bring the big toes to touch. Knees are going to go as wide as your mat. But again, don't go to your most extreme place. Keep it nice and gentle. And then just come down onto your forearms. And I want you to pause there. And what sometimes feels nice is just to do a little bit of kind of wiggling and jiggling, just to make sure everything feels settled and in the right place. And you might choose to stay here on your forearms. If the knees feel compressed, then feel free to pop your blanket or a cushion under the backs of the thighs. Nice. Okay, and then if that feels okay, maybe choosing to extend the arms forward and just melt the heart to the floor. And breathe. And as we go through this practice, when you get to your final place, your place of comfort, then move your awareness away from your body and back to your breath. And again, using that as a little anchor. And just feel as if you're just giving yourself to the earth. And after a few breaths, you might feel, once your body becomes comfortable, that you want to open your knees, widen your knees a little bit more. And let your heart melt to the floor a little bit more. And then when you're ready, slowly, slowly, slowly come back up. Okay, coming on to all fours. Knees are under hips, wrists are under shoulders. Fingers are nice and spread out, middle fingers pointing to 12 o'clock. And then very, very simply, start to make a figure of 8 movement as you slowly take the weight over the hands and then back towards the hips. And again, start off just to keep it nice and gentle. Again, just to tune in how the lower back feels, how the knees feel, how the wrists feel. And then if everything feels okay, maybe starting to make this a little bit more juicy. Maybe carrying a little bit more weight over the wrists, if that works for you. Bending and straightening the arms and making this a little bit more juicy. And almost visualizing that your spine is like a rope and you're just flicking this rope from side to side. Just bringing a little bit of warmth, a little bit of heat into the spine and into the joints, the knees, the hips, the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders, and then go the other way. So that's going to mess with your head a little bit, but that's what yoga does. Because you have to think about what you're doing, so your mind can't be distracted by unnecessary thoughts. And just enjoy. And if you get to places where you think, oh, God, that feels lovely, then feel free to stay there and breathe into it. Nicely done. Okay, and then slowly bring that to a close. Beautiful. From here, I want you to take your hand, maybe a kind of hand's length further forward. So your arms are now a little bit more in the diagonal. You're going to tuck your toes under. You're going to lift your knees off the floor and then slowly start to take the hips up and back and maybe start to straighten the legs. But again, don't fully straighten the legs because the backs of the legs will feel tight. And again, you can make any adjustments. You can adjust the feet, you can adjust the hands. But again, making sure that you're not dumping down through the wrists, that the weight is going down through the balls of the fingers. And then paddle those heels. Take one heel to the floor at a time. And at the same time, trying to take your heart a little bit more towards your thighs. So feeling that sensation move into your shoulders. Then when you've paddled the heels a few times, take the heels towards the floor and maybe straighten the legs a little bit more. And breathe. And if the backs of the thighs are a little bit tight, take a little bend in the knees so that you can tilt your tailbone towards the sky, giving you access to your hamstrings. Nice. Okay, and then from there, come up high onto the balls of the feet, coming down onto all fours. If you're like me, you're having a bit of a wardrobe malfunction, readjust, and then come back onto all fours. If at any point in time you need to relieve your wrists, you just sit back and do a little bit of wrist circling. Okay, so back on all fours. This time wrists move back under shoulders, knees under hips. Okay, we're going to draw the belly back. We're going to lift the lower ribs up a little bit. And then we're going to tuck the right toes under, send the right heel away. Keep engaging the belly back towards the spine. Keep feeling as if you're lifting the lower ribs up towards the sky. That might feel already quite strong for you, in which case you can stay there. I want you to push the floor away from you so you're aware of a widening of the trapezius muscles in the back, the scapula muscles, and then tuck the left toes under, send the left heel away. And keep pushing the floor away, keep drawing those lower ribs up, the belly back towards the spine. And again, if this immediately the body starts to grumble, you can simply bring the knees down onto the floor. Pause and breathe. And just notice if you've lifted your chin or dropped it too much, and see if you can just get your spine to be on one long plane. And breathe. Send those heels away, press the wrists into the floor, hands into the floor. Beautiful. Drop the knees, bend the elbows, and slowly lower yourself down. Can you see me? Yes, you can. Okay, then from here, simply slide the hands forward, coming into Sphinx. Okay, so we want to make sure, sorry, the camera angle's not brilliant, that your elbows are not back from your shoulders. Your elbows are either directly under your shoulders or even a little bit further forward. The legs are straight out behind you. Again, fingers are spread out on the mat. Tops of the feet are flat on the floor. And rather than just kind of collapsing into this, again, press the forearms, press the elbows, but we're not lifting the chin. We're not dropping the chin. The spine is lovely and neutral, almost as if you were standing. Nice. Okay, from here, I want you to imagine that you're kind of, or visualize, or try to pull the floor towards you. And as you pull the floor towards you, creates a little bit of sensation in the front of the body. Moving into Sphinx. Beautiful. And then you're going to press the tops of the feet into the floor. So the knees are going to lift ever so slightly. And you're going to keep pressing the arms into the floor and dragging that mat back towards you. Nice. Beautiful. And just breathe into it. And try to be a little bit more focused on what's going on in the front of the body rather than the back of the body. And if you feel an uncomfortable amount of pinching in the lower back, you simply take your arms forward. And that will just reduce the lumbar curve. And this is a lovely pose for just giving the abdominal muscles a sense of release. So breathe into that belly. Lift the heart. Try not to sink. Keep the heart right. Beautiful. And then from here, slowly slide forward. The arms are going straight out in front of you. I'm a little bit space constrained here. And just relax in Advasana. Beautiful. Okay, and then from here, hands under shoulders. Push yourself up onto all fours. Pause there before we do a little bit of a counter pose, which is going to be Balasana. Super simple. So bring your hips back towards your heels, nice and slowly. Forehead towards the floor. Arms are going to reach behind you. Backs of the hands on the floor. Palms of the hands facing the sky. Knees can be apart, or again, to give the abdominals a little bit more of a massage, knees could be together. If the head doesn't reach the floor, simply grab your pillow or whatever you were sitting on earlier and bring the forehead onto that support. It's really important that the third eye, Agya Chakra, is in contact with something, because that stimulates a marma point in the head, which triggers the pituitary gland and triggers our relaxation response. So have your head in contact with something. Even your fists can be a nice thing to do. And same again, if the backs of the knees are feeling a little bit compromised and you're feeling a little bit of tension here, you can just pop a folded blanket or a cushion or something under the backs of your knees. And as well as being a stress reliever, and as well as being a kind of counter pose to our Sphinx pose, Balasana is a stress reliever because it's triggering this relaxation response. And the spine is in this lovely primary curve shape, so you can draw your chin in as much as you can to release the back of the neck. But wherever you are, find release. Beautiful. Okay, and then from here, bring your hands under your shoulders, slowly sit yourself up, swing your legs round. Wardrobe malfunction sorting again. And then from here, bring the soles of the feet together. Now again, you might feel that you're kind of compromised sitting this way. So if you want to pop yourself up onto a blanket or a cushion, if that feels better for you and gives you a little bit of relief in your lower back, then that's what you do. Or you comfortably sit on the floor. But whatever you're sitting on, again, rock from side to side and find your sit bones. And the feet might start off quite far away from you, but eventually you'll start to draw them a little bit closer. If you can't find your feet without crouching, you hold on to your knees, you hold on to your shins, you hold on to your ankles, or maybe you hold on to your feet, or maybe hold on to your toes. I find that quite nice. Okay, and nice and gently, don't be too quick about this. We're going to do our butterfly wings, Purna Tatali, and we're going to slowly just flap our wings. This is a lovely, lovely pose for just working with the adductors, these inner thigh muscles, and just giving a little bit of release to tight hips because we're sitting on chairs all the time. So we build in a lot of tension. Okay. So just gently bouncing those thighs. You're not doing thumping them, you're not forcing them. So your flapping might be a lot slower than mine. So you do what works for you. This is your yoga. And then let them become still. And whether you're holding on to the knees, the shins, or maybe the feet, you're going to inhale and lift yourself up. So you're sitting up really nice and tall. You've re-established that lovely natural lumbar curve and your lower back feels nice and comfortable. And again, without rounding, without bending, collapsing in the middle, keep the spine nice and long. Simply lean forward. And that leaning forward might mean that you can bring your elbows to the outsides of your shins. But again, we don't want the chin to be lifted. We don't want the chin to drop. We want the spine to be nice and neutral. So chin in a nice neutral place. And again, just breathe into it. So avoid pushing the knees down. Avoid allowing the back to round. Bend on forward only if that's comfortable for you. So again, this is going to give a little bit of release to the psoas muscle and, as we said, the adductor muscle, these hip flexors. But what I also want you to now think about is your pelvic floor. And I want you to be aware of not over relaxing the pelvic floor. I want you to draw up. So almost as if you're trying to stop yourself having a wee. Draw the pelvic floor, the perineum up. Give it a squeeze as you lean forward. And that creates a little bit of space. And then take your awareness, take your breath to the tip of your nose. Nice. And then relax your pelvic floor. Slowly come up. Okay. Then we're going to take the legs nice and wide. But again, don't be in any hurry to get there. Okay, again, I'm constrained by furniture. Okay. Again, if you're feeling a little bit, again, tight, and you're feeling like you're kind of like at a roadblock, you can't move forward, you're going to sit on something. It might also be handy to have maybe a pile of books or a pile of cushions handy for this one as well. Okay, hands either side of the body, lift yourself up. And you can't see them because they're off camera, but my toes are flexed. And my feet are almost rolling out a little bit. So I'm not quite trying to get my little toes to the floor, but I'm certainly not allowing my feet to roll in. I'm trying to roll them out ever so slightly and keep them rolled out. Okay. And then very, very simply, hands either side of the body, lift yourself up. Okay, so I want you to find the upper support, the upper body support that's relevant for you. And that might be hands either side of the body. Or if you're feeling comfortable, and again, navel back towards the spine will support, maybe bring the hands in front of you. But again, if that means you immediately start to round, go back to hands behind you. Perfect. Okay, so again, this is giving a lovely, lovely strengthening and stretching and lengthening the groins, the hamstrings. And this might be as far as you want to go. And this is where, so that you can settle and relax, you might want to bring a stool, a pile of cushions, something into the equation. Perfect, okay. And remember, you can always go back, or maybe if you've got a little bit more space, start to come forward. Maybe bringing the forearms down onto the floor. And if you can get your forearms down onto the floor, again, stimulate Agya chakra. Bring your thumbs onto your eyebrow center. But again, notice, have my feet rolled in and try to roll them back out again. All sensation in Upavista Konasana should be pleasurable. It should be a stretch without a strain. Beautiful. And again, now these little quiet movements are also nice times to think about that gratitude, that sense of gratitude. Almost like you're gathering, you're building on this inner sense of gratitude. It's going to make you smile. Nice, nice, nice. And then from here, hands onto the floor. Slowly, slowly, slowly bring yourself back up. Move your cushions, your stools, your books, whatever, to one side. Use the hands on the backs of the legs to slowly bring them together. Bring the soles of the feet onto the floor. Hands either side of you, behind you. And this time you are kind of leaning back, but don't collapse. Keep the heart bright, keep the chest lifted, and simply start to take the hips from one side to the other. And it doesn't really matter how far they go, but you're just going to give the groins, give the inner thighs a little bit of release. Give the lower back a little bit of release. Beautiful. Okay. Nice. And one thing that we haven't done in this practice is a little bit of a balance. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay, so feet or soles of the feet on the floor. You can stay where you are. You're going to bring your hands onto the backs of the thighs. Again, if you're rounded, you're going to sit up nice and tall. Think of your pelvic floor. I want you to gather up your pelvic floor, Mula Bandha, sorry. Gather that up. Draw your navel back towards your spine. Again, think about not throwing your head up, not dropping your chin too much. And then very, very simply, rock off your sit bones and lift your feet off the floor. Now this is where if you lose that connection, if you lose Mula Bandha, if you lose that connection with your navel back towards your spine, you will lose your center of gravity and you will roll back. You can keep your hands supporting your spine, your thighs. That might be your balance. If you can, I want you to bring your lower legs up so that they're parallel to the floor. Again, keep breathing. And then maybe take the hands away. Keep breathing. Maybe taking even deeper breaths to help you through this. And then maybe straightening the legs. Remember, there's always a maybe, maybe not. Nice. And then we reverse it. We bend the knees, hands onto thighs, bring the feet down, and then very, very slowly roll down onto the mat, one vertebra at a time. And then when you're down, yogi's choice, the knees can stay bent, or you can extend one heel to the corner of the mat, the other heel to the corner of the mat. Relax your arms either side of you, coming into your Shavasana. And just let yourself just drop into the floor. And just take some nice, juicy, delicious breaths here. And just connect to your body and just notice how you feel. Let your feet relax, your ankles relax, your lower legs, your knees, your thighs, your buttocks, the muscles and the organs deep in the pelvis, the rib cage, the shoulders, the fingers, the palms of the hands, the wrists, lower arms, elbows, upper arms, the neck, the throat softens, the jaw relaxes, all the muscles of the face soften, the whole body relaxes. And as you allow your body to just let go, give its weight to the support of the floor, you become aware of the breath. Noticing the pace of your breath, the depth of your breath, maybe even the sound of your breath. And it's the breath that carries prana into the body, the life-giving force. So just appreciate every breath that you're taking for the life that it gives your body. This amazing body that's just carried you through this very simple practice, but this body which carries you through life. And I'm going to end this practice here by chanting the mantra Om, but feel free if you want to stay here for a little bit longer to stay here and just enjoy Shavasana. But if you want to join me in chanting the mantra Om, take a breath in. I hope you enjoyed this practice. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, thank you, thank you.